Meat eaters of Reddit, what is your favorite vegetarian, vegan dish? This was exactly my thought. I used to do pest control once a month at a hotel owned by an Indian family. They had converted 3 of the apartments into one big place for themselves. Showed up one day at lunchtime and they insisted that I have lunch with them. I already loved Indian food, but this shit was off the hook. Not only that, but they sat me down at the table by myself and brought me dish after dish in a specific order and said first you take a bite of this, then a bite of this, etc. etc. Was an absolutely amazing experience, and not a thing had meat in it. They refused to let me pay them and told me to schedule their appointment every month at lunchtime. So what I did was paid $15 of their bill and then did so every month after that and had lunch with them monthly for years. No way would I have been able to find a feast like that for $15 at any restaurant, and the quality was so much better. Palak paneer is my absolute favorite. There's no Indian restaurants where I live, and my attempts at making it myself have been less than successful. I live in a very small town in Wisconsin currently, and we literally have like 5 or 6 Mexican restaurants but 0 Indian or Thai. As soon as I can I'm moving back to Cincinnati, specifically Westchester/Sharonville. Indian buffets and Pakistani restaurants every 5 feet. It was glorious. I've always been a daily meat eater, first, because that was simply the norm, and later due to taste and lack of good vegetarian, vegan options. Then I went on a trip through India with a vegan friend of mine and he ended up choosing most of the restaurants and dishes because I didn't care too much and he had to look for vegan options. One day, he asked me, have you noticed that you haven't had any meat in 3 days? And it took me by complete surprise. He had ordered some dishes with paneer for me but never chose any meat options. I just enjoyed the paneer tikka, the curries, the naan, the dal, the aloo gobi, etc. so much, that I didn't notice that none of the dishes included meat. Changed my perspective quite a bit that my main concern wasn't meat but great taste. So I opened my mind more towards vegan and vegetarian restaurants, especially South and Southeast Asian ones. I tried it at Cheesecake Factory for the first time a few weeks ago. It was closest to Burger King grilled patty flavor, texture. Not a convincing replacement for a hand-mixed ground beef burger. Still interesting though. I gave up meat a decade ago and like this one where other meat imitators all failed. Except Beyond Meat. You can find this in a grocery store. It was freakishly accurate in texture and flavor both, so much so that it made me uncomfortable and I couldn't finish it. There's a vegan gumbo at Woodman's that is the absolute bomb. I'll eat a whole can by myself. Prepping a vegetarian meal, I'll love to have some giant mushrooms with cheese and garlic inside of the baked in the oven with olive oil and topped with onion and loads of pepper. I try to eat at least 2 vegetarian days a week but sometimes I don't. Other times I go on a stint of like a month. Indian vegetarian food. No specific preference. A country with a 70% vegetarian population know their fucking vegetables. I have a vegetarian Indian takeaway near my house that I order the thali from at least twice a month. I never bother telling them what to put in the thali. I just ask for whatever they'd feel like cooking that day. I've never been disappointed. I remember this one time I went to visit I think, Buddhist temple for a club event, and we were served this vegetarian dish. I don't remember what it had in it but it was so good. I normally don't like vegetables but I scarfed the whole thing down. It tasted almost exactly like meat and it was so delicious I almost begged for seconds. Dang, my mouth is watering right now thinking about how it was so good. I really want to go back there and try it again sometime. My wife is vegan. We eat vegan at home, but I still eat meat when I go out. Or if I get carry out. I also have a stash of turkey and cheese for sandwiches and eggs for breakfast. My wife loves to cook, and is really good at it. She's always experimenting with foods from around the world. We've found that naturally vegan foods are the best. Not a big fan of fake meats, cheeses, creams, etc. We like Indian, Asian, Central American, Mediterranean, Italian and Middle Eastern. Seems to be areas of the world in warmer climates, where food spoilage was a real concern years before refrigeration, or where raising meat was cost prohibitive. It's freaking awesome. I don't know if I could pick a favorite. I'm partial to Asian, Indian, and Lebanese foods myself. Spicy barash tofu, jibu jorim. I like to watch cooking videos on YouTube. Discovered Mangchi. Saw one of her videos making a vegan meal. I decided to try making it. Spicy and tastes great. I thought veganism was conscientious noble, but a life of suffering. After making jibu jorim, I thought you don't have to sacrifice taste to eat vegan. I'm not and likely will never be a vegan, but you can eat delicious vegan food. Here is the link below to the video. Please enjoy. https://f.b/ob2simptx9pm. I really like Indian food for this. Palak, sag paneer has got to be my favorite. I order that from the restaurant when I have my period and can feel myself low in iron. I actually have some vegan rajma curry in my fridge that I made a few days ago and my whole family has been eating it for the last few days while two of us are PMsing and need the proteins. The slow simmering and layered flavorful spices of these dishes are so satisfying you don't even miss the meat at all. If you have an instant pot then absolutely explore this kind of food. It's totally accessible. This is from a hello white Canadian who grew up in the far north of the country with very little in the way of vegetarian or non-Irish, French Canadian influenced food. I feel like I can finally talk about this. I am not a huge fan of vegan meals. Never really found one I enjoyed more than I would if it had meat in it. Nothing against vegans, but I'm just a meat eater. My friends and I do a weekly dinner where we try out new recipes. One week our vegan friend was joining us and instead of making her bring her own food we decided to do a vegan meal. We made curry with meatballs. They were tofu and chickpeas if I remember correctly. I was completely prepared to not like them and even joked about ordering burgers later if we were still hungry. 10/10ths would make that meal again. It was amazing. Taste, texture, everything completely on point. Probably one of the best things I've eaten in a while. I don't have one, but one dish I've made a few times now could easily be made into a vegetarian dish and it really wouldn't lose much. At the time it's with sausages, leeks, small potatoes and cherry tomatoes. But the highlight of flavor comes from the vegetables, even though all it is olive oil, salt and pepper before they go in the oven. So if I wanted to I'd just have to increase the vegetables and remove the sausages. Lentil sloppy joes. I originally had it from Chef's Plate, but it has their own spice blend that I was not sure exactly what was in it. Someone shared with me this recipe which is really good. https://minimalistbaker.com/vegan sloppy joes/ it is vegan as long as you follow their instructions to use a vegan bun and Worcester sauce and can be gluten-free if you need it to be. I use brown sugar instead of coconut sugar. Instead of dicing the bell pepper I cut it into strips and saute it and put it on top the sandwich because that is how it was done in the original recipe I tried from Chef's Plate. For years I have been searching in the deepest of jungles, the depths of the ocean, throughout the cities and town I have looked. I have spent most of my life searching and searching, putting my life on the line for a potential waste of time or world-shattering discovery. I plan on searching planets beyond our own once the technology allows. I search for life forms, human or not, through every inch of the earth. I plan to search the very fabric of the universe for an answer, down to the atom. I may die in my journey, I may lose everything I care about during my extensive scouring. What am I looking for, you may ask? What is so important for me to discover that I must spend every second of my life taking on such a grueling task? Well, if you must know, I shall grant you with the knowledge, but you must not tell a single soul. Who the fuck asked? Vegetarian dish, Popeye egg/egg in a basket. Take a piece of bread, butter it both sides. Take a shot glass or skinny cup and make a hole in the middle. Put on stove for a few seconds on low. Medium. Take an egg and try to crack it in the hole without breaking the yolk. Cook until the bottom is toasted and egg won't break when you touch the bottom, then flip it. Cook until you think is good, then enjoy. BTW, it's really good if you also cook the circle from the hole and dip it in the egg. Black bean and poblano flautas W. Quack. I get lots of free recipes from the HelloFresh website and buy the ingredients myself instead of paying some crazy price for someone to send me a frozen box of food in the mail. I love their recipes, but have reservations about their delivery service. I can't imagine being a vegetarian because I'm not a fan of a lot of vegetables. However, there's quite a few recipes on their website that have foods I'm willing to eat, and it's easy to substitute sides and sauces from one recipe into another. My top 3 vegan dishes right now are goji bakam, Korean stir-fried eggplant, bisara, a Moroccan fava bean, and split pea soup garnished with red pepper, cumin, and olive oil. Tacos de nopal, cactus tacos. I actually like to cook nopals in gochujang and eat them in lettuce wraps. Nopals are free in southern Arizona. Here's the fun part, I am allergic to quite a fucking lot of stuff, vegetables included, with onion being an exception, thank fucking God. However, my favorite vegetable outside of onion would be cucumber, a thing I am very much allergic to. If you think that is weird, wait until I tell you about watermelon. I don't have any dish to share though outside of my favorite vegetables. Sorry, cucumbers are worth an allergic reaction NGL. They look visually good and they taste good. Carrots CS and go fuck themselves. Except for cooked. That shit is good NGL. I am currently making this jackfruit stew from Indonesia called gulai nangka or gulai kubadak. It's got lots of aromatics in it. Chili, garlic, shallots, kaffir lime leaves, turmeric, galangal, ginger, lemongrass, coconut milk, young jackfruit, and when it's simmered down a bit more I'll add the green beans and cabbage. I ate it all the time when I lived there. Very often I'd find a chicken foot in there, but I don't make it with those. I think it's just very common not to waste anything in cooking there, so the bits of chicken left over from other dishes just got added in for flavor. I don't notice a difference. I also loved nasi uduk, Indonesian-style coconut rice, with fried tofu and tempeh smothered in sambal. I ate it like 3 times a week. My favorite vegetarian dish is homemade ravioli di portobello, where the inside is portobello, mozzarella, and parmesan, topped with a light, creamy vodka sauce, green onions and diced Roma tomatoes sprinkled on top. Edit. Important note, I can hand make the pasta and fold in crimpage ravioli, but I can't make a vodka sauce, lol. I tend to brand hop, but I think I did Classico last time and it was solidly okay. Close runners-up include traditional green bean casserole, mushroom omelets, and honestly just the simplicity of broccoli and cheddar rice. Bean and rice burrito bowls. Add chopped tomato and cilantro, smash up an avocado, and flash fry some green peppers and onions, then finish it off with lime juice and hot sauce, and they're amazing. If you're wanting vegetarian instead of vegan, I also like mine with some cheddar and sour cream on them, but it doesn't need it. So much flavor that I always end up overeating because my mouth is too happy. Because I do eat meat, I don't worry so much about protein when I eat vegetarian. In summer, I eat fresh corn on the cob, cantaloupe, purple hull peas, sliced homegrown tomatoes, squash, slangjang, tomato/cucumber salad, cornbread salad. Spot the southerner. My favorite is squash casserole, which has cheese in it, so I guess there's your protein. Edit. Oh dear God, I forgot the fried okra and watermelon slices. Ratatouille. I love eggplant and was so happy I could grow my own this year. Made a ratatouille with everything almost exclusively from my own garden. Also, my ex's sister was vegan, so I made some vegan chocolate chip cookies and a vegan Texas sheet cake. Holy crap, they were better than the original recipes. Probably something called githeri. It's beans and maize, white corn, boiled to completion, then stir-fried with tomatoes and onions, and then your choice of spices. Add a couple avocado slices and it's really good. Actually no, I would say ugali managu or chapati and beans. Managu is a leafy green that is so easy to make. Just boil it with some onions and maybe a tomato slice, and maybe stir-fry if you wish, but it is not necessary. It tastes good. Ugali, you can Google. Chapati is similar to naan bread. You can eat it with the beans too. I prefer the small red beans, that are boiled then stir-fried with tomatoes, and your choice of spices, also mokomo and strong tea. Mokomo is like mashed potatoes and peas, tomatoes, onions. Boiled then stir-fried, then all mashed together. It's good with black tea. Growing up, we used to eat vegetarian/vegan lots, not because of choice. It's just that was what was available. Meat is expensive. There are a lot of dishes people eat that aren't meat-based but still taste good. I love meat, will never give it up. But there are many non-meat dishes that I love too. Sure, it happens. Once I met a friend who'd been abroad for half a year, and unknown to me was that during that time he stopped being a vegan. He had some sort of wrap he was eating. We usually share our food, and I asked if I could taste a bite. He said sure and handed me the wrap. As I bite into it I feel the taste of chicken and I spit it out. Dairy's not cut out, so I rarely have true vegan recipes, but my answer is probably going to be some sort of risotto. This can be done in so many ways, it's hard to pick a single recipe. Roasted cauliflower and broccoli cheddar soup is also a favorite I make annually. I would substitute a lot of protein options in meals with mushrooms, but my family tends to hate them, which is such a bummer. I like a well-made vegan chili. Tofu curry is good. Any vegan Indian curry is good. Fried tofu, ramen with the vegetable stock base and vegan noodles. Really, as long as it's not pretending to be meat, I can eat most veggie things and be content. Because food is good and doesn't need meat. But as soon as you say, this is like beef, I look at it and go ... Do you remember what beef tastes like? I actually became happier with Beyond Burgers and Impossible Burgers the minute I stopped comparing them to burgers and just decided that was just an unfair comparison. Cauliflower and zucchini deep fried in buttermilk and rice flour. I worked in a restaurant and my boss hated the idea of tofu because he could just make dishes like that which are better, and not trying to stimulate meat. He served the cauliflower and zucchini over a grain salad, and put something called bear vinaigrette on it. I don't know what it was, or how he made it, but I know it was an original recipe, which is unfortunate because I can't recreate it. Veggie green Thai curry, spinach sauteed with garlic and mushrooms, roasted Brussels sprouts and anything with beans. On holidays I go crazy for green bean casserole. I would eat any of those on a daily basis, and save for green bean casserole I need to make sure I get protein for my own health reasons, but goddamn I eat veggies like 90% of the time. So in Chinese cuisine there's this thing called soon ga, or in English, the equivalent would be fake goose meat or vegetarian duck or mock duck. It's essentially wheat gluten that has been stretched, seasoned, with soy sauce, salt, spices etc., laminated and finally fried in oil. I eat it with hot white rice, so good. https://n.m.wikipedia.org/wiki/mock_duck. Baked potatoes rolled in a spicy dry rub. You use olive oil and salt to help bind the spices, throw them in the oven for till 45 minutes, and then butter the insides once cooked. I find Costco's bacon bits work extremely well as an additional ingredient, but that's outside the question. Adding bacon helps prevent calorie crashing if you're doing mountain biking or swimming later on. Anything from a vegetarian or veg-heavy culture. Seems like much of the vegetarian food out there is let's take this thing that's really good with meat, and just take the meat out, and it just leaves this underwhelming mess of carbs and disconnected vegetables. Where it's really at are the cultures who have spent centuries crafting the way of the vegetable. It doesn't have to pretend, and you don't even miss the meat. Years ago, There was this pizza, pasta place inside my nearest mall. Don't remember the name, but they left all of a sudden and never restarted anywhere. Anyways, they had this pizza. It was a stuffed type pizza where it had a bottom crust with white cheeses, broccoli, spinach, sauce and spices layered out then and top crust brushed with butter and seasoning. My god, this was amazing. Never had anything like it and have never found anything close to it ever since. It broke my heart the day we walked into the mall and they were replaced by a Mexican food place which has since turned into a Subway.